Let's look at the allegory, chapter 4, verse 21. Tell me, you that desire to be under the law. Well, this would be talking about the book of the law. Do you not listen to the Torah? Do you not listen to the whole of the Torah in context of what it's teaching you? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by the female Eved slave and the other by the free woman. But he who was from the female Eved slave was born after the flesh, carnal. But he from the free woman was of promise, faith. So now we've got a division. And this is the book of the law, carnal, not of faith. Book of the covenant, faith. Two covenants. Which things are allegories, for these are the two covenants. The one from Har Sinai, Mount Sinai, that brings forth slavery, which is Hagar. Exodus 24, verse 12, come up here and receive the law. After the blood ratification of Exodus 24, verse 8, you cannot add to an already blood ratified covenant. That is the law that was the book of the law that was imposed and brings forth slavery. Does that make sense? Brings forth slavery. For this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia and corresponds to the Jerusalem that now exists and is in slavery with her children. Now, Paul right here, he states that this allegory is about two covenants. One is from Mount Sinai, the added book of the law, Exodus 24:12. And it is fleshly, and it brings you into bondage, which was the present state of Jerusalem of his time. That's what they were all into, the bondage of the book of the law, because they hadn't received the reformation that had come by Yahusha. Now we look at verse 26. But the Yerushalayim, the Jerusalem that is above, is free, which is the Ima, the mother of us all. The book of the covenant is free because it's heavenly Melchizedek. Now you cross-reference this with Hebrews chapter 12, verse 22. Hebrews, which is all about speaking about the fruition of the Melchizedek covenants of promise. Hebrews 12, verse 22. But you have come to Mount Zion, the city of the living Elohim, the heavenly Jerusalem. There it is right there. To an innumerable company of angels, to the gathering and called out assembly of the firstborn. Where and when were Israel a gathered assembly and called out as the firstborn? Where did that happen? Only place that happened was Exodus 19:5 through 24:8. They were called out and called the assembly of the firstborn. They were a chosen nation of royal priesthood. This is the book of the covenant text. This supports that interpretation right there. And if you need more, you can go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 12, and read that through verse 22. And it reaffirms these are the covenants of promise which the Messiah has established through his death, burial, and resurrection. We've got a book of the law, book of the covenant dichotomy, and this is what the allegory is between these two covenants. The book of the law is the Hagar. It corresponds to the Jerusalem of Paul's day because they were still on the cusp of the law. They were at that transition point. They were in bondage under the tutor, the schoolmaster, and Messiah Yahusha had transformed the priesthood by his resurrection, bringing them into the book of the covenant, which is the mother of us all, from the Jerusalem above, Hebrews 12, verse 22, returning you back to Exodus 19:5, the book of the covenant's promises of a proposal and acceptance, a blood ratification, and a covenant confirming meal, verse 8 of chapter 24 of Exodus. This, of course, is the free woman. Two covenants. What an allegory that we have. Bye.